Hello everyone, welcome back to FullGrownGaming's Let's Play of Kingdom Hearts. Now the first thing I want to do in this episode is actually go talk to Merlin, and not even really talk to Merlin, just go to his house. I feel like we're barging in and using his, facilities, like using his bathroom or something, and not really giving him the attention he deserves. But we're gonna go in there and look at that book that we gave, that we gave him in the last episode that Sid made us give him to him. I didn't actually think I was gonna be able to jump over that, by the way, but we could have gone. And I think it's actually a better idea to go through the alley to get here, if only because you don't have to jump over, these rocks. And it's not that big of a deal, but if you fall off these rocks, like I think I said this the first time I came here, you can't just come over here and jump up onto the island. You have to swim all the way back, and that can be kind of tedious after a while. Like, you keep falling off, you got to keep running back. But we got here now, not really any problem. Now, the book, if you guys have never seen what this book is, you might be in for a really cool surprise. So let's go ahead and examine this. Well, I was hoping they would play the music. Maybe once I go in here, they actually will. But you can see that there's a lot of whited out areas on the, I was going to say the map here. It's really just the surface of the book. And that is because, I think in the last episode, Merlin might have mentioned torn pages. If not, I'll just go ahead and tell you right now. Torn pages are things we have to find, and when we do, they'll make these places available to go in. And pretty much every place you see a whited out area, we're going to eventually be able to go into them. Now, the first place we can only go, I think, is into this area here. Before we go there, though, look at what the command is for attacking now. It's not attack anymore, it's hit. So apparently, because we are in such an innocent Disney area, we can only hit, we can't attack. So let's go ahead and go in here, though. And to go into it, if you guys didn't catch that, it says read. So we have to read this part of the book to go into it. And this is an empty meadow, so let's go ahead and enter this. Hopefully they play the music, because it'll just completely set the mood for this area.
Think, 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 think.
Winnie the Pooh, guys. That is right. Winnie the Pooh is in this game.
Hi there. What's wrong?
Nothing. Just thinking.
Oh.
I was thinking of how to say goodbye to Pooh.
Pooh?
Yes?
Wait a second. You're Pooh?
Yes, I'm Winnie the Pooh. Pooh for short. Who are you?
I'm Sora.
Oh, hello, Sora. Have you come to say goodbye to Pooh, too?
Well, no. Why would I do that? We've only just met.
Because everyone's gone away.
What do you mean?
Well, we all lived here in the 100-acre wood, and we'd take walks together, or play Pooh sticks. And every day, I'd eat some honey. Just one small Smackeral would taste very good right now. But now, everyone is gone. All my friends, and my favorite honey tree, too. Everyone must have gone away while I was napping, I think. So, who knows? Maybe I shall end up going away somewhere as well. But I wonder, how do I say goodbye to myself? Think, think, think. Oh, my tumbly is getting rather rumbly.
We guys are in the 100-acre wood, and I feel so bad for Winnie the Pooh right now. We have to help him out, because apparently all of his friends left him here while he was asleep. So maybe once we find the torn pages, they'll, become, reintegrated with the book here. Let's go ahead and get this right here. I think this is probably a mithril shard or a mithril. Mithril shard. It seems like I said that one episode. And by the way, I can't dodge roll right now. I wonder if that's because I accidentally unequipped it or if I just can't do it right now. Yeah, see, dodge roll is equipped. So for whatever reason, we can't dodge roll in, you know, the book here. And I'm going to have to fiddle with my abilities and equipment and stuff, but just not right now. And apparently I can dodge roll on the main map here. So let's go ahead, and this area right here opened up. It might have been here a second ago, but I didn't really see it. So let's go ahead and examine or read it. And we're actually going to get another little piece of the story here. I'm not sure if there's going to be a cutscene. If there's not, I'll be quiet. But the interactivity with this part of the game is just so cool to me. And by the way, I can't dodge roll again. But what you want to do basically after every time you beat a level is come back to Traverse Town and come back to the 100 Acre Wood, because there's probably going to be something new in each area. The first thing we want to do is go ahead and hit this little chimney thing right here. And I'm not sure if I would talked over that too much, but you probably would have heard the, what is it called, like the jingle thing that tells you did something right. So we did do something right, and I wonder if we pull something, if anything will happen. Apparently nothing, so let's just go barging right on into Pooh's house here.
Oh, bother. There's no more honey left. If only the honey tree would visit. Oh, then I could eat my fill.
With every passing second, I just cannot help but feel really bad for him. But when we jingled that thing on the chimney, that made this fall out. Somehow, a Mega Ether fell out. And also, if we come over here and examine this cabinet, I believe there's an elixir, a Mega Elixir or something in there. Elixir. I didn't think they would be giving me a Mega Elixir for something like that. But as far as Winnie the Pooh's world goes here, the 100 Acre Wood, it's pretty much, there's nothing else we can do right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave. But it looks like we have Owl here. Let me guess, you'd like to know what happens next. He's nowhere near as annoying as the one in Ocarina of Time, by the way. Unfortunately, some of the pages are missing, so I can't tell you yet. The pages are scattered over many worlds. Would you find them for us? I wonder, like, how... Because we know that Sid brought the book... Or Merlin brought the book to Sid to basically, you know, fix it or whatever. And apparently, I think I read a comment that it was explained in Birth by Sleep or something like that. And I haven't really played that too in detail, so I'm not really sure. But I think the whole story of this book and how the pages got scattered is actually kind of cool. And to me, it's almost a little sad in a way that they are stuck in that book. And as far as I know, they never really come out of the book into the real world. But then who's to say what's real, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and speed it up until I get back to the first district, and I will see you guys there. Alright, here we are back in the first district. I wonder if we have any postcards. I guess not. It didn't say mail card down there, so I should have known. Now, the first thing I want to do is actually go talk to Sid, who is not in the accessory shop anymore. I don't know if I showed that in the last episode or not, but if we talk to him... Hey, now that was quick. Now you know. Now you know, I'm in the gummy block business. Working on your gummy ship sure was great. Come again, and I'll give you a big discount. Alright, so we get a Comet G, which is... Actually, I don't even remember what that is. It's either an engine or a weapon. Go ahead, take it. It's a special giveaway. If we talk to him again, we can actually, you know, go to his store there. And he's telling us that we have, you know, we have a navigation piece, but we can't install it because we don't have, you know, the other one in the set, as he says we have to find the mate to that one. But after that little speech right there, now we get to go to the shop. Unfortunately, we don't really have enough money, I don't think, to buy what I wanted to buy down here, the COM level 2. I guess that's what that stands for, or it doesn't stand for anything. Actually, I don't really know. But that gives us more blocks to work with, or more space in the gummy ship editor to work with, so we don't have to make such a small ship. I don't have enough money right now, so I'll probably come back later. And here, by the way, is the spray, which I'll come by later and just buy all the stuff that I need, because if I'm not going to be able to buy everything at one time, it probably isn't worth it. But that right there is how you add color to your gummy ship pieces, which I had a hard time with earlier. And the con, like I said, it gives you more space for your, you know, your ship. So I'm just going to leave everything like it is. But I do need to go, speaking of the accessory shop, I believe if we go in the accessory shop, we're going to meet a character that you might not have also expected to be in the game, over here in the corner. And I like how when you come in here, they have the camera situated in a way you probably wouldn't even think to look over here. So let's slowly turn the camera. And who is this? Just, you know, it looks like he's trying to steal something on the floor here.
Well, well, as I live and breathe, if it isn't Pinocchio.
Oh, hi, Jiminy.
What in the world are you doing down here?
Playing hide and seek.
I just don't believe it. And here I was, up all night just worried sick about you. Why, of all the... Pinocchio!
Pinocchio, are you telling me the truth? Yes. Is it gonna grow again? It should, because that was obviously not the truth. Then tell me, what is this? Who is this Barry Burton from Resident Evil 1? It was a present. No fibbing now. You know you're not supposed to tell lies. A lie only grows and grows till you get caught. Plain as the nose in your face. I never actually realized that symbolism or metaphor, you know, right there. In the, you know, the original story. But if you want something, why wait? Why not just take it? Oh my, who told you that? You need some advice from your conscience. That's right, you're my conscience, Jiminy. As long as... I'll never tell lies as long as you're around. Is it gonna go back down? Alright. So he actually does have a little bit more importance in the game than you might have originally thought, you know, from this cutscene. You need to be good so you can become a real boy. You promised Geppetto you would be, right? You would be, right? Oh, do you know where Father is? He's not with you? Jiminy, let's go find Father. Now hold on. There are all sorts of dangers and temptations out there. I'll go find Geppetto, so you just wait here. These fellows here will be helping me. We will. Well, shall we go, Sora? You could have just asked us first. I never really took Sora to be such a tight, you know, person, I guess. I wasn't gonna inject any vulgar language there, but I can't believe that Sora was like, oh, we're not gonna help him. You know, after we've been trying to help all these worlds for so long, Sora's just like, well, you know what, I don't think we have time for him. But I think I've done pretty much everything in Traverse Town for now, so we're gonna exit here, and I think Chip and Dale are actually gonna give us a little bit of a speech here. Yep. There's a tournament being held at the Coliseum. Alright, so that's about as much information as I needed there. I hear there's a great reward for the winner, so I'm gladly they don't like go into a huge, long explanation. Now, as you can see, there are normal drives and warp drives now. The warp drive, if we just use the warp drive on the Olympus Coliseum, we don't actually have to fly there, so that's going to cut down a lot of, you know, time as far as getting between worlds. And the warp drive is not just for worlds that are right next to the world you're in either. If you've been to a world before, you will actually be able to warp there without having to fly to each individual world on the way there. So luckily, like they said, there is actually a tournament going on here, so I'm going to try my best to take on this tournament. Now, I don't think we're going to get a cutscene right out of the gate here, but I could be wrong. Okay, good. Now, I don't think I can do any of that stuff I was talking about earlier. I think there's a green trinity, which we don't have yet, and I think we don't... Like, I think I mentioned this the first time we were here. I don't think we can do the, you know, the little, not really cut, our mini game, the secrets with these torches until we get Blizzara, which we only still have Blizzard. And by the way, that is a really good thing. That for whatever reason reminded me. I'm gonna go ahead and do some item management here, and then I will come right back, you know, into the menus and show you what I've done. And the reason I do this, like cut that part out, is because I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. So I'll see you guys in a second. Alright guys, I think I've got everything pretty much fixed up here. I'm still really low on items, and I keep forgetting to go buy some. And even if I remembered, it seems like I'm constantly low on money anyway, so I probably wouldn't have been able to anyway. How many times am I going to say anyway? Now, here I've filled up pretty much all of Sora's slots, but Donald and Goofy are kind of low. Goofy's completely empty on items. But that's not, I don't think I'm going to have that much of a problem with this tournament. As far as Sora goes, I put the White Fang on because even though it lowered his defense a little bit, it actually did raise his strength, which is kind of what I'm worried about right now. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. I don't know if there's any more, you know, weapons available for Donald and Goofy yet. I haven't seen any, but I left, you know, the Morning Star and the Smasher on them, and I just gave them the Protera ring, or chain, and the Thundara ring. For Donald, I gave him the Thundara ring, just because it raises defense and reduces lightning damage by 20%. And there are quite a few lightning enemies that we're going to be fighting in this area here. And Goofy, I just gave, you know, I don't know, I just threw whatever the best defensive items I had left over were on him. As far as abilities, I just left everything the same. I wish I could put Second Chance on, but that would mean I would have to take off one of these other ones, and I don't really want to do that. And what Second Chance does, I think I talked about this a while ago, you keep one hit point even after taking a critical hit. So even if you get hit by an attack that would have killed you, you wouldn't die. You would only have 1 HP left, but, you know, you would still at least be able to try and use a potion or something. I guess I have everything equipped on Donald, and I went ahead and equipped Tornado on Goofy. Now, the only other thing I want to tell you guys is I put Arrow on Sora's, you know, quick-using magic menu there, which I put it on Triangle, and I'll show you, or explain what that does a little bit more in detail once we get started here. Now, there's still a Yellow Trinity that we can't do over here, but if we talk to Phil, you know the rules, right? Which tournament do we want to enter? I guess the only one that's available. And we're going to go ahead and enter it together. All three of us are going to be fighting here. And that might not sound like, it might sound obvious, but there's actually tournaments later on, and actually this very tournament that we're fighting right now, after we beat it with everybody, we can beat it with, or we can try to beat it with just Sora. And we do actually get better items, and it looks like Donald is going absolutely crazy with that thunder ability over there, so that's pretty good. But yeah, later on, after we beat this for the first time by, you know, with everybody in our party, we can actually beat it with just Sora. I'm drawing a blank here. And Donald, that was another thing I forgot I should have done. Turn down their item usage, because he only had one item, I think, and he already used it in the first fight. But then after we beat everything with just Sora, we can beat everything with just Sora and a time limit, which I don't know if I'm even high enough level to do that right now. I'll try it, but I really doubt that I will be able to beat that part at, you know, such a low level with really low level equipment and all that. And the lucky, I mean, obviously it does make sense that you would get better items for beating those harder tournaments, but the thing is, like, the really big item that we're going to be getting from this is actually just from the easiest one, just beating it with everybody. But the thing we do get is another magic spell, so if you're into that kind of thing, you might be, you know, interested in sticking around and watching that. Now, another thing that's kind of cool about this tournament here is, I think, let me go ahead and use Sonic. I don't think I've shown this, or maybe I did in the last episode, but that turns out to be really useful, especially in this fight here, in my opinion, because it does so much damage really quickly, and I guess I might as well go ahead and use it again, because it looks like it's doing pretty substantial damage to these feet. And what I was going to say about that was that those feet are actually clearly supposed to be references to that boss we just fought. You know, the opposite armor, and what was the first one? The guard armor. Except, I think it was a different color or something like that, so I guess that shows it's a different enemy altogether. But I think it's kind of cool that we just fought that enemy, and then we have to come over here and fight individual parts. Now, this fight right here, I always think the ones where you have to fight a whole bunch of small enemies are the ones that are really annoying, because they're constantly flying around, and wow, I'm going kind of low on health here. Usually Donald is going to be the one to heal me. There we go. I wonder if there's an option in the configuration to turn up his... If I could, this is what I would do. Turn up his usage of the cure spell and turn down his usage of items. And the only reason I would give him items anyway, I would just not give them anything, is because we have such a low, you know, ability. We have so few slots to equip items in. What I wish, like... And it's not really a big knock on the game. It's just like if I was personally making the game or whatever, I would have made it so that if you had, you know, 90 potions or something like that, you could have still, if you put a potion in one of your slots, you would be able to use all the potions you have in your inventory. But I'm worried that, actually, now that I think about it, that would have made the game a little bit too easy, so maybe that's why they didn't do it. And it looks like we are going absolutely ridiculous on these bosses here, or not bosses, enemies. I don't think any of these enemies are really too difficult, except for, I was going to say, if that thing bumps into me, he might actually kill me, so luckily somebody dodged that, or, you know, blocked it, so it didn't hit me. Oh, no, jump, there we go. Alright, so I'm not sure if I'm going to speed any of this up. If we get into a boss fight, or into a fight here that we've already fought a whole bunch of the enemies, I might just go ahead and speed it up. But I did want to give you guys a little bit of a taste of, you know, expert fighting. You know, fighting on the expert difficulty. Not to say that I'm an expert fighter by any means or anything like that. But this next one, I think this is the one with arms in it. Yeah, the gauntlets. These guys, to me, are really hard, so hopefully I don't, you know, lose here. Now, one thing I did want to kind of touch on a tiny bit, luckily it looks like we're taking care of most of the enemies pretty quickly here. Are you kidding me? I knew that was going to happen, but I guess I'll go ahead and talk about what I was going to talk about as I work up through the fights again, maybe speed it up a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to speed it back up until I get to that fight again, and then I'll go into what I was going to talk about. Alright guys, here we are back at this fight. Now the first thing I want to do right off the bat that I should have been doing that I forgot is cast Arrow on myself. And for those of you who might not know what that does, that actually increases your defense. So these attacks that they're using won't do nearly as much damage. Like that probably would have killed me. And what is important to have is if you're going to be using these combinations of attacks, you know, arrow and not really even attacks, just strategies, I guess. By the way, strategies including arrow and cure are probably some of the best in the game. But, oh wow, max AP up, that's actually pretty good. Now, what I was going to say was you're going to want to you're going to want to have a lot of ethers, because ethers obviously replenish your MP. And if you're going to be using, you know, arrow and cure a lot, and speaking of cure, we have a lot of these curing enemies up here I need to take care of. You're going to want to have a lot of, you know, MP replenishing items, which is pretty obvious, I guess. And which is why I should probably, you know, maybe off camera before the next episode or something, you know, do a lot of fights so I can, you know, get some more money, because I've been constantly low on money in this game, and I'm normally not that low on money. It seems like I don't think I've ever been this strapped for money in this game ever. So I'm probably going to do that off camera, you know, in the next episode. But anyway, what I was going to talk about before I died was actually the fact that, and I kind of hinted at it in the last episode, that the Kingdom Hearts HD remake pack thing is coming out. Now, a couple of things about it that, first of all, I don't have a PlayStation 3, so it's kind of hard for me to get really excited about it. But if it turns out to be really good, that might be the thing that finally gets me to buy a PlayStation 3. Especially since, if you guys didn't know this, I think they have announced another model of the PlayStation 3 that's coming out, which is like even smaller than the one that's already, you know, the slim PlayStation 3 or whatever. Which I don't know if it's really necessary. I don't know why they wouldn't just, and maybe they will, lower the price of the existing PlayStation 3s. Hopefully, if they do, I probably won't even buy the new one. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I was going to say that might get me to buy a PlayStation 3. And I should probably go ahead and use maybe an elixir here. But I've heard that it's only going to be remastered cutscenes. And I'm not sure if that's really, I don't know how that sits with me is what I'm trying to say here. If they would go ahead and redo all of the textures and stuff in the entire game, I think that would be really cool. But if all they're going to do is make remastered cutscenes, and I thought the cutscenes looked awesome in this game in the first place, I'm not sure how different it's going to be. But luckily, and another thing I was going to say, they're going to have the final mix content in the game, which is really cool. But another problem is they've never released a final mix game in the United States or anywhere outside of Europe. I mean, anywhere outside of Japan, I don't think. So even Europe and the United States, we've been getting kind of screwed on the final mix content. If they do release this outside of Japan, that would be really cool. But from what I've seen, that hasn't been announced yet. All I've seen is, you know, Japan, released in Japan, that kind of stuff. So if it turns out that it's going to be released in the United States and Europe, because I wouldn't want to leave the European brethren out of this, then I can truly get excited. But as for right now, I'm not sure how excited I can get. And it would make sense for me for them to release it outside of Europe, or I don't know why I keep saying that, outside of Japan. But as far as I know, like I said, they've never released any final mix stuff outside of Japan, so I can kind of understand maybe why they would not, just to keep that tradition going, which is a stupid tradition, but oh well, I guess. Alright, I'm running kind of low on health constantly here. I probably should have... Alright, Donald, thanks for wasting your magic on me again. But I probably should have used arrow at the beginning of this fight. Do I have enough? No, I don't. Arrow, by the way, takes 2 magic points. Or MP, I'm not sure. That does stand for magic points, right? Ever since I played Mario RPG, I've been confusing magic points with flower points. If you guys have never played that FP in that game is what stands for MP. So, anyway, actually, I was getting kind of, you know, so caught up in fighting, I didn't realize that was even the final fight in this cup here.
We're the champs!
And we get the Power of Stars, the Gravity magic spell, which if you guys have played any Final Fantasy game which that magic spell appears, what that does, I think it does the same thing in here as well. It lowers their HP by 1/4, or it drains 1/4 of their HP, which is kind of useful. I mean, if it's a big boss or a big enemy or something. Actually, I don't think it really works on bosses all the time, but it can be used strategically to take out one particularly hard enemy in the game. But I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Let's Play Kingdom Hearts. In the next episode, I might try and go ahead and do the remaining parts of the Fill Cup here, but if not, we're going to be heading to Agrabah, which, you know, home of Aladdin, it's actually a really cool level. So I want to thank you guys for watching this episode, and I want to see you guys back for the next episode.